dispute any point of what I'm saying, you can dispute it. Just because I memorize it doesn't mean that it's incorrect as well. You can memorize true information.
That is true, and you can also memorize false information.
Yeah, but can you demonstrate that what I said was false?
I mean, well, let me ask you this. You said something about the 10-year-old girl, right?
Yeah.
Like I say, all right, you said that he would date her in 10 years, right?
Yeah, he said he would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years.
Right, so actually he's saying he'd date a 20-year-old. He didn't say he was going to take a 10-year-old out. He's saying he's going to wait till she's 20, is that right?
Okay. Would you be okay with him going up to a kindergarten classroom and say he'll be dating the 5-year-olds in 15 years?
I mean, as long as they're 20 years old when he does it.
I think that's a ridiculous and absurd thing to say. I don't think it's acceptable for old 60-year-old men to go up to 5-year-olds and 10-year-olds and say he'll be dating them in 15 and 10 years. I think that's absurd. I think that's sexualizing little kids. I think that's disgusting.
Well, I think that the sexualization of little kids is I think we passed that a long time ago. I mean, yeah, if we could get onto that and
I mean, there's that, and also that he's like literally hasn't released all of the Epstein files when legally obligated to do so. He's literally credibly accused by a minor in the Epstein files who got a settlement with the Epstein estate. So, I mean, like, if you want to talk about his inappropriate behavior with minors, I think that's very clear. It's not just this scenario. It's also this scenario.
Well, let me ask you a question, though. You really believe that he has done something with a minor and no Democrat, and Democrats have to know, they have to, if he did something like that. I mean, there's no way that they would let him stay in. I mean, there's absolutely.
I do believe that Donald Trump has done that. Absolutely.
All right. So what I'm getting at is this: you're telling me that there is no Democrat that is going to come out and say that, even though they got proof that he's done that.
So no, there's literally a credible accusation from a minor in the Epstein files who got a settlement with the Epstein estate. I'm not saying there's no credible accusation against Democrats at all. Of course, I can. Democrat if something's applicable to them.
I wasn't saying that. I was saying that if there's a minor, then why? You can't tell me that they couldn't get him out. There's no way.
Are you saying release the files or like prior administrations, or are you saying like given that there actually was this, they couldn't get him out? No, I mean you need to have Republicans and the cabinet on board to get rid of the president. So yeah, we're trying to. But you understand that they're not pushing hard enough from the right wing.
Well, and believe me, I'm not for any of that. If he did something like that and it can really be proven, then sure, I say we take him out. I don't.
Well, then you should be able to do it now. I mean, in of itself, him saying that he wants to prevent the release of the Epstein files is something that we can consider a reason to say that like this would implicate him in a manner in which you wouldn't want to support him, right?
Here's the deal: I'm not going to support anybody that's a pedophile. I'm not going to do that. But if he is a pedophile, it seems like that there would be somebody that's able to drop like a bombshell, and just haven't seen it.
So you understand that Donald Trump has been held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman. Yes. They have been trying to cover up the Epstein files. So actively speaking, just because someone hasn't been put in prison doesn't mean that they haven't done this. For example, has anyone been arrested in this country based upon the Epstein files?
Yes and no.
No, since the Epstein files have been released, has there been anyone here in the U.S. that's been arrested? The answer to that question is no. So then, do you believe anyone is guilty based upon? Do you believe that there was anyone guilty based upon the release of the Epstein files?
Do I believe anybody has been arrested? No, I don't. No.
No. Do you believe that anyone was guilty?
But I don't know. Oh, sure. I mean, there's somebody.
Okay, so you agree that people are guilty, but you also agree that people haven't been arrested.
I don't know who.
So just because someone hasn't been arrested or hasn't been held accountable for something yet does not mean that it is not something that they've done.
But you are telling us that you're saying that the president of the United States did it. I'm saying that somebody has to be able to prove that.
Yeah, there was a settlement with the Epstein estate.
But the settlement, I mean, that's not. Where's the? All right, so does it say exactly what happened?
Well, it demonstrates that there was enough evidence to indicate that this person was credible in making their accusations against Epstein. And if one of their
Right?
accusations against Epstein was that Epstein trafficked her to Trump, well, then I would say that that would be a credible accusation if the accusations against Epstein were deemed to be credible enough to warrant a
So you're
settlement.
saying that Trump. So you're saying that Trump settled with this person.
No, I'm saying that the Epstein estate settled with this person.
So now it's really not Trump settling with this person; it's the Epstein estate.
I never said it was Trump settling with them. I said it was the
Right.
settlement with the
And
Epstein estate every
and
single
what I'm
time
trying
I've said this.
right, but what I'm trying to say is that there's nothing that really leads back to Trump himself. Epstein
It
estate
does.
settled this, not Trump.
But you understand that the
I
accusation they
understand what you're
made
saying.
was
I understand
still
what you're
about
saying.
Epstein's
Yes.
behavior.
Sure. I understand Epstein's behavior is not very good.
Okay? But Epstein's
Okay.
behavior here is what they were specifically identifying. And if they identify that this claim is true about Epstein's behavior, then that means that Trump is implicated.
Well, not necessarily. I
It
mean, I don't
literally
say believe
does,
that.
because it says if the accusations against Epstein are credible, and one of the accusations includes Trump, and it's still made about Epstein trafficking them to Trump, that tells you the exact point there, that obviously Donald Trump is implicated.
I mean, you're saying that like they've got a file that specifically says everything he did with some minor child. They might, but nobody has seen it. And you're saying the reason being is the Epstein estate settled. I understand maybe that was a great legal move, but I just don't see how there's nobody that can get to the bottom of it. Somebody has to have seen it.
Yeah, so you understand that we quite literally have got to the bottom of this. It's just you're unwilling to believe it.
No, I'm not. I'm not unwilling to believe it. It's just I've got to see something to believe. And
Yeah,
you're
I'm
saying,
giving you the evidence.
I know what you just said, but that evidence is, I mean, you don't see how it would be if I don't know, Parker's your first or last name, but say that,
It's my first
the
name.
Epstein's, all right, Parker, say that the Epstein estate settled, but your name was in it. Maybe you didn't do anything. And now people are out here
Yeah,
saying, well,
I understand, but they settled on an accusation specifically relating to Epstein's behavior, meaning that these claims were deemed to be credible.
exactly.
So
Maybe
then
he
here's my
did do
point.
some of
Here's my
those
point.
things.
If
So I'm
Trump
just
is
saying, Trump.
if Trump is so innocent, why were they scrubbing the interviews associated with the allegations? And why haven't they released the conclusions associated with these three interviews?
I don't know, and I wish I did.
Think
I mean,
about
I
it,
wish
Lance.
that somebody should be able to get to the
That
truth
tells
of
that
all this.
that is guilty behavior. That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't look good, but I'm just saying that there's nothing that's came out.
But it's guilty behavior. Do you agree?
I do agree with that, but do you also agree that just because it's guilty behavior doesn't necessarily mean that he did it?
It
I mean,
doesn't necessarily mean that, but it's
right.
evidential points towards the fact that he did do this.
It does not look good. I give you that.
But it's
But
evidence
what I'm
towards
saying,
the fact that he's done this.
I don't. I really, God's honest truth, I just don't see him doing that. I can see that he
Okay,
could
well,
be
you can
wrapped
say that
up.
you don't feel like he would do this, but all the evidence indicates this. There's been 27 plus people that have accused him of sexual misconduct. If your belief is true, you have to believe every single one of them are lying.
Well,
Okay?
you have to believe. Well, now sometimes there is some bandwagon jumping going on. I mean, it is.
No, but do you
I
understand? You have
mean,
to believe every single one of the 27 plus women that have come out and accused him of sexual misconduct. You have
right.
to believe every single one is lying.
I and yes, you're right. I would have to believe that.
And
That's
do you
true.
believe that?
And well, what I'm saying is, whenever I say bandwagon jumping, I mean if you get two or three people that will accuse him of something, it just gets easier and easier for other women to start coming out where he might have said something at the time it wasn't considered to be sexually, I don't know, wrong to say, but now in
We're talking about
these
sexual
times,
misconduct, and also, like, I'm sorry, but, like, you can't just say, oh, some women already coming out is going to be evidence that more other women will come out. We're talking about 27 women, dude.
yeah,
Why do you think
yeah.
every single one would be a liar? That's ridiculous to me. Why would you
No,
believe the
it's-
pathological liar, the guy who's cheated on every single one of his wives, the guy that had 30,000 confirmed lies or misleading statements in his first administration, the guy that lied to you about the results of the 2020 election, right? Why would you